Most businesses don't actually have a lead generation problem. They really have a process problem. And this is something that I've taken a lot of time to think about recently as I'm going through this phase of trying to scale and grow my business. I started looking at my business from an outside lens. I've done a lot of thinking about the philosophy around this. I think in the beginning, when sales decline or sales can't get off the ground, a lot of times people start asking the wrong questions. For example, how do I get more leads? How do I get more referrals? Well, those are good questions. I think the better question is to focus on the system that creates those opportunities. Because how to get more leads, how to get more referrals, typically that's something that gets focused on a transaction by transaction basis. Can I go meet someone at an event? Can I host an event? Can I send flyers out? It's usually just a one-off attempt at gaining business. But ultimately, building a sales pipeline takes a lot more than just these one-off attempts. You're not going out to go deer hunting and catch a single deer. You're going out to create a plan that creates sustained food or income over a long period of time. And that needs systems. If you're a fisherman who lives on the abilities to sustain their survival and need to go catch fish every day, you're going to figure out how to become very efficient and create a process that's repeatable to gain an outcome that you're looking for over time. So for example, one thing that I was talking about recently is when someone says, I need more leads, like what does that actually mean? Do you need more closed sales? Do you need more clients to sign up with you? Like what is the actual challenge you're having? Are you just not getting in front of enough people? Or are you just not extracting that type of information from your current database? I was talking to an entrepreneur recently, and they were thinking about starting their own business. And they effectively said, I just don't know how I'm going to replace my income from my current W-2 job. I don't know where I'm going to find my customers. And this was effectively, they were starting a landscaping company. I said to them, well, how many contacts do you have on your phone? They said, 2,000. I said, why don't you reach out to every single one of them? They said, well, why would I do that? I said, well, what if they need your services? Like you're starting a new business. And then not only just one time, but get their information, have a phone call and ask, do they know anyone else who might need your services? If you do that at a multiple of 2,000 people, probability says you're probably going to get at least 20% who say they're going to either sign up for your service or know someone who will. And take that database and put them into some form of marketing process and system. What you do from there is everything. If you just send out one text message to everyone, hey, I just started a landscaping company in your area. I'm not sure if you're looking for services, but I'd love an opportunity to talk with you about how we might be able to help, about how our company might be a fit. Something super simple, whatever the message is. But that's the only thing that you send or do. You're doing yourself a disservice with those leads. Like those are people who could potentially need your service. And all you're doing is sending one text message. Think about an actual process that's repeatable. What if they don't answer in 3 days? What's your next move? Is there something else I can do to entice them in a month from now? Can I get them in some sort of incentive program down the line that's going to keep my name in front of them long enough so that they have an opportunity to think about me? Most prospects take 7 to 14 follow-ups to actually convert into a sale. So if you are just starting with that one outreach, you're not actually giving yourself a fair shot at getting the leads. So if we gave you 1,000 leads of people who say, I think I'm ready to move forward with your product or service, if you only send one message, the amount of people that are actually going to move forward off of just one interaction is incredibly small. So when you get these opportunities to get leads, you need to ask yourself, am I doing the right things from a process standpoint to actually close them or create enough trust where they're willing to send me someone that they might know who could use my service? And a lot of times that's where entrepreneurs fail. They usually say, I need more leads or I need more sales or I need a bigger team. But you're not asking yourself the right question. And think about your process from a client perspective. If you were to sign up for your service, what does that experience look like? Have you really honed in on the onboarding process, the engagement? Are you communicating? Are you following up? Are you being the type of professional that deserves a referral? Because you could have the best product in the world, but if your sales process is terrible, you don't communicate with the client, and they don't feel supported or trust you, you won't get referrals. Everyone's had that interaction when they say, hey, do you know a such and such? Do you know a landscaper? Do you know a roofer? They go, yeah, I do, but. Don't be the but. Don't be the person who they don't want to send your name because you don't have a process that deserves a referral. There are opportunities for organic business growth. Everyone loves sending people to someone looking for a service when they know that person is a rock star. Every single time. If you talk to someone about a service, hey, do you know a plumber? And they go, oh my God, you have to use my plumber. He's really good. I worked with him for 10 years. He always shows up. He's fair pricing. He'll communicate and he does what he says he's going to do. Perfect. Who do you think that person's going to call? That plumber. But if that plumber didn't do those things and just had the lowest price or made the most cold calls, that's not an effective way to grow the business. So again, I think more often than not, it becomes a systems and processes problem. One, from how you're actually nurturing the leads, what you do with them after you send that first follow-up, first introduction. And then when they do sign up as a client, what does your process look like at that point? Are they really getting the best possible client experience? And is every client getting the same experience? You can't just do things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times. You have to repeat the process every single time. And when you do that over volume and at scale, that's when you start to create the brand as a reputation of taking care of their clients, providing a high value service, and being a company they want to tell their friends about. It's never just one transaction. It's the reputation and repetition of doing things at the highest level over and over and over. And the last part of that process is at the end. What happens when they do close or sign up for the service? Do you just put them in the past client folder of your CRM, or what actually happens? Are you still there? Are you providing value? If you're a landscaping company, and not to pick on them, I don't know why I'm on that topic. I actually enjoy my landscaper, but is there something else you can do to provide value? Let's say you're a landscaper who doesn't do snow removal. How cool would it be if 2 months before snow comes, if you're in a market that has snow, your landscaper sends you a list of, hey, I don't do snow removal, but here's a few vendors that I've worked with, I know, like, and trust to take care of you in case you're looking for someone. I'd recommend reaching out to them about 2 months before snow falls. Once it does, they're already too busy. Or if they were to send you some sort of maintenance checklist. Hey, we were taking care of your lawn this year, but just want to send you over some information to make sure you keep an eye on those gutters. It looks like there was getting some debris in there. I want to make sure you get that cleaned, and a checklist of some other things you can do around the house just as a value add service. Who wouldn't take a look at that? Thank you. Appreciate the list. But I'm using these examples because they're coming top to mind, but it's super important to you think about these in these 3-step processes. What are you doing to acquire your leads? What are you doing with those leads? How are you managing that follow-up process? Once they do become a client, what does that service look like afterward? Because everyone remembers that company who sends a box of chocolates on your birthday for that online service you signed up for, or the financial service that brings pies to your house. Everyone remembers those little things, and it reinforces the rest of their process. And if you think about it from that perspective, if you were to get just a box of chocolates delivered to your house from a service that didn't do a good job, does the box of chocolates mean anything? No. You're like, thanks for the chocolates. You're lucky I worked with you because I hated my experience. But if the right processes are in place, that box of chocolates goes a mile. Wow. I've enjoyed my experience from day one. Since becoming a client, I feel like I'm supported. I'm there. They're giving me everything and more that they asked for. And look at this. They went above and beyond and sent me chocolates on my birthday. But if you don't have the right processes before that, no one cares about the chocolates. Chocolates aren't going to make me use your service or tell my friends. Chocolates plus the right service, I'll tell my friends. So think about this as you're going through your sales process. Usually people don't have a lead problem. They just have a process problem. They don't understand what it actually takes to nurture leads, create a service and client experience that goes above and beyond so that they want to and almost have to tell their family and friends. Hope you enjoyed today's show. We got many more episodes to come on this topic, and we'll see you in the next one.